Laves-Webb, and I am just thrilled to be sitting here with our senior associate, Robbie Price, here at the practice. Robbie just comes in with a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience, a wealth of trainings, both personally and professionally. So Robbie, welcome.
Thank you.
First of all, you bet.
Intro there.
You bet.
That's good.
You bet. Yeah, take that in.
Yeah.
And so I want, this is an opportunity for the folks out there that maybe don't know you or don't know much about therapy in general. And they're thinking, okay, I'd like to kind of meet with a therapist. I want to do some, due diligence and some research on some people to kind of get a sense of what it's like, where they're coming from, whether or not I think they could be helpful. So could you tell us a little bit about kind of your background and where you're coming from and, kind of what you bring to this practice of psychotherapy?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'm very much an experiential learner. Like it helps me integrate it in a way of being and how I want to be with others, right? So majority of my background and training, aside from the academic portions and the kind of formal trainings, I believe my strong suit is really the time I've spent sitting in the chair as a client.
As a client, okay.
And I've done 16 years of weekly individual group individual therapy, and I've done coming up on 13 years of my own process group therapy every week.
Okay.
And that's really helped me understand what it's like to be in this chair and navigate those intrapsychic pathways and go through my unconscious and explore those internal conflicts that I have within inside myself that I have gathered from my own familial dynamics I grew up with in relationships.
And I can imagine that really makes you empathetic and compassionate to the clients that you serve, kind of on that side of the couch as well, since you've had such a big participant as a client as well. Is that fair to say?
Fair to say, absolutely. Yeah. I'm thinking like, me kind of like in my growth as just as a human being and going through my own therapies, like I can explore, I can go up to here, but I can't help my clients grow past me if I'm not still growing myself.
Right. Yeah.
So it's
such a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Very much so.
Are there any theories or proclivities that you have that you really draw upon? I mean, obviously you have a lot of personal experience. Like I said, you have a lot of professional experience as well. I know that you to be a very deep thinker. I'm sure there's a lot of different avenues and different kind of thoughts that you have about things, and explored and read and done a lot of kind of internal work around that. What theories have you landed on that you really feel like, I really like this. This is congruent with me?
Well, this makes me think of a time when I was like undergrad, I was like 26 years old, and I was, studying, and I came across, I didn't know there was theories in this field and modalities. I was just really green, I just had no clue. I just had the experiences in it. I didn't know all the details that went into it, right? And I was speaking to my therapist, and I was like, just really hungry, like what's the best theory out there, like what's the best modality, and just really hungry to learn, and I remember him saying, what's better than any therapy out there? And I'm like, oh, what? And he goes, a healthy, loving relationship. And that's what we're doing in here. And that's what we're doing as clinicians to help others have those healthy, loving relationships.
Yeah.
You have, that's the base, that's the core, and the rest of it ripples out in their lives.
Right. So the microcosm of being able to have a healthy relationship, kind of irrespective of theory. In other words, what you're saying, that then ripples out.
Right. Absolutely. And and naturally, like as I went on through it, like I just gravitated to ask him, what's your orientation? And I naturally started reading things about it, and it just made more sense. It was giving me language to what I was already experiencing as a client in the chair. And I was like, and then it started giving me language to kind of understand what I've been observing in others and in myself within relationships, and what was the dance that was taking place, even in our unconscious dances that are taking place. And that was
sounds like it was very powerful.
It was. I loved it. And so I dabbled into like the whole psychobabble stuff, but object relations and psychodynamic.
And is a lot of that more unconscious focused
for
the folks out there, kind of what we're not aware of that's happening,
very much
contributing to behaviors that we may not like and that sort of thing.
Really going back to our earlier attachments and our familial dynamics and how we protected ourselves, how we got our needs met, or how certain emotions are welcomed or not welcomed, and very young states that we kind of find ourselves struggling with in our personal relationships right now.
Right. And just to play devil's advocate here for a second, let's say there's somebody out there that says, yeah, you know, of course I've got some, you know, issues with my mom or my dad or my, you know, family of origin in whatever way that look that, you know, may be a little challenging, but that's not really my issue right now. My issue is really that I'm struggling with alcohol, or I'm trying to have better communication with my partner, or what might you say to someone like that?
Struggling with the substance and the partner, or
With someone that says, yeah, I have some family of origin kind of things
Okay.
or concerns,
Gotcha.
but that's not really my issue. My issue is really that I'm struggling with alcohol, or I'm trying to communicate better with my partner, or...
Yeah, I think I would listen to them and try to understand why they feel like that is the big piece. And then and over time, there's a lot of connections with those two things, with the familial dynamics. Like
Gotcha.
even like a substance, it can be very symbolic of what we didn't get growing up, whether, this is, you know, nourishment, oral, right? Like I didn't get the nourishment when I was a young child, and here I am kind of symbolically reaching out for something to drink.
Right.
Just giving an example there.
Sure.
So it just becomes a little symbolic.
So you're saying that you might be able to hear that in a way, or that might be an example of the unconscious.
Right,
So,
exactly.
you know, I notice that as well. People come in and they might present with, hey, I'm really wanting to work on X, Y, and Z. But after talking a little bit, it becomes more clear that they're really struggling with X, Y, or Z.
Yeah, and this is how they found ways to self-soothe.
Yeah.
You know, and they might have grown up where they did a lot of self-soothe, video gaming or whatever it is, that they were in their room a lot and finding different ways, and this just evolved into this as they got older. Another object of gratification that can soothe and regulate for just a little bit.
Okay. All right.
So,
thank you.
Yeah,
It's fascinating work, because there's so many different ideas and views and things that are happening that you know that we're trying to understand and be compassionate about, and try to help clients heal from.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What kind of things do you do in your time off when you're not kind of in the chair and as a therapist?
I'm moving my body. I gotta move it. Sitting this long, I need to be able to move my body. I'm a bit big into soccer. I've been playing that since I was 4. I play like 3-4 games a week, and gotta run. And I like group community aspect of it out there too, and that's nourishing for me. And having that.
Anything about soccer that you know that parallels to therapy, you think?
Yes. Oh, that's a good question. I think of I'm just even thinking of, I remember we were speaking one time and we were kind of looking at, we're both defensive minded. You played soccer.
I played soccer quite a bit.
We had this kind of both defensive minded, and how we're watching someone, and at some time, and we're watching the moves and where they go, and we have to find our way when we're going to jump in. This is the part here that we need to go, but we're going with them and following them. We're not necessarily challenging it or anything, but here's a piece.
Right. Yeah.
Where to come in.
The minute you see something, you're like, okay, now maybe we can enter here to try to help.
Yeah.
You know, in soccer, it's to try to, you know, gain a position or get the ball or whatever.
Right.
In therapy, it's to help heal or grow or deepen the work.
Yeah.
So,
Like here it is.
Yeah,
right
it's a
there.
similarity.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I've always liked that when you shared that, I was like, that is on point.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it's fascinating work. I love the flow. To me, there's, you know, the soccer kind of psychotherapy analogy is, it's, you know, the reason I really love soccer is it's like an opera. You know, you kind of have to watch the whole thing. Like, it's in flow. It doesn't stop and then there's a substitution. It's a flow.
Yes.
And so, and you know, the Italians play it different than the Germans, who play it different than the Brazilians, and everyone has their own flow. So culture fits into it beautifully.
Yeah.
You know, and it's got its own cadence, its own beat. And psychotherapy is so similar, where there's a flow. You know, it doesn't stop in the middle of the 50-minute hour.
No.
And it fits in beautifully with culture and family dynamics and relationships.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so every session's kind of, even though it's a 50-minute hour, so to speak, it's still very unique and very special, and very much its own opera in that way. And that's part of what I really love about it.
I was even thinking, like, you know, chemistry equivalent to like attunement. Like I know exactly where this guy is going to be, even though he's over here, and I know where he wants me to send it in front of him versus his feet.
Right.
Like you just,
Right.
it's
Right.
kind of like I know how they,
as a team,
chemistry
you're saying,
that
yeah.
takes place, and that happens in relationships when you're having good communication and connection. You're having this nice flow within the relationship that feels good.
Yeah.
And it is kind of a high when you're playing at that level, and same thing within a relationship when you have this connection and communication and attunement. It does feel good.
And then just out of curiosity, and just because the folks out there, you know, maybe want to know, has being a psychotherapist helped you in your romantic relationships?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it's again going back to striving for healthy, loving relationships, and that's what I want to have in my life and in my own personal and with friends and family and colleagues and clients. Like that's what I'm wanting to do. And so it's like really, again, like integrating it to who I am.
Right.
So I think if more integrated into that, it just ripples out into all other directions in life.
I love it. Yeah, I really love how you practice what you preach. I mean, I think that's one of your biggest assets. So
yeah, I've never been good at like reading something and just applying it. Like I have to like feel it. Yeah,
you got to do the thing.
I have to
get your hands dirty.
Yeah, I got to get my hands dirty, and that's just how I work.
Yeah, I can join you there. Otherwise, we're like, sometimes good, sometimes for bad.
Yeah.
But I am getting my hands dirty.
Yes, because I can hear people speak to it, and even like training psychopathy. But I'm like, yeah, but how does that look? How does that sound?
Give me the grit of it.
Yeah, like.
Let me get into it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Robbie, thank you so much.
Yeah,
and if you want to learn more about Robbie, you know, you can go to our website, go to his page. There's links to this video and some other introductory videos that Robbie has. So,
thanks, Louis.
Thank you so much, Robbie.
Thank you. I appreciate it.